All right, guys, this is some big news, man. So today, PFL announced that they just signed Jake Paul to a fight deal to now put on the MMA gloves and fight. So I think that this is a situation now that we're really, us as fans, as the MMA fans, the MMA community, who has, been on Jake Paul heavy with all the criticism about him, handpicking opponents, him not fighting guys who are in their prime or the same height, same weight. And him only wanting to box these MMA guys in boxing. Well, now he's pulled the trigger. So he's done it. So he's in the MMA world, signed for PFL. And this is the catch, right? I just think it's so interesting why he chose to sign with PFL instead of like the UFC. Because we know, right, he has this whole issue with fighter pay that he's doing, and he thinks that Dana White doesn't pay the UFC fighters enough money, so he wants to, join a rival league and bring the rival league, the PFL, up in value. Because guess what's going to happen? When Jake Paul fights in the PFL, so many people are going to tune in that their ratings are going to go so up. Their pay-per-view buys will be the most they probably ever had. Because most people don't watch PFL. Like, let's be real, mainstream people watch UFC and they might watch a little bit of Bellator. Maybe there's some crazy knockout. But the most mass consensus of the general public, we watch the UFC. So if you're Jake Paul and you say, you know what, I don't like Dana White, I don't like that he doesn't pay his fighters enough, let me do something that creates competition for him or stirs the pot. Let me go join the PFL fight league and take a guy like Nate Diaz and get him signed to the PFL, and let's fight Nate Diaz in boxing and in MMA. I mean, that would do numbers. Like, I would love to see Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz in a cage, fighting for real. I would. Oh my gosh, I would love that, because now we get the opportunity to see all that shit talk. He's gonna back it up. Because, I mean, he's not beat. In my book, I don't know about you guys, in my book, Jake Paul is not beating Nate Diaz in the MMA. I don't care if Nate Diaz is, I don't care if it's 3 years from now, Nate Diaz is 41, 42. I mean, he ain't losing to Jake Paul in the octagon. Boxing, I think it'd be a different story. It could be close. Jake could even win. But the biggest takeaway is you got to tip your hat to Jake Paul for signing an MMA to an MMA organization, because no influencers have ever crossed over to the cage, and that's real fighting. Boxing is one thing, and although boxing is a very, very brutal sport too, MMA fighting is a whole nother beast. So you got to tip your hat to Jake Paul that he even has the courage to, sign to the PFL. And now it's time to put on big fights. So who wants to smoke? I know he said he was willing to box Nate Diaz first, and then 6 months later they can fight in the octagon. I say let's do it. If you're Nate Diaz, you're running that bag up $10-20 million if you do that with Jake Paul. Easy. He's even mentioned Mike Perry. I think Mike Perry would be a good-ass fucking octagon fight or a boxing fight. Honestly, I would love to see that as well. So there's options for Jake Paul. And I think that with Jake Paul, we've given this guy so much criticism, but he really is, he's moving smart in a way to, push his wanting to, be a beacon for fighter pay and benefits, and also keep up his little, rivalry he has with Dana White. So I think that this is something that should excite us as fight fans, right? And, it'll bring some more media coverage to the PFL, and people get to dabble in and see some of the other fighters. But I'm looking forward to seeing Jake Paul fight MMA in 2023. I really am. That is now on my top 5 wish list of seeing a fight, because I really want to see what's up. And we're going to see that. So if he fights Nate Diaz, or he fights Mike Perry, or any one of these top guys who are out of the UFC, Anthony Pettis threw his name in the hat. He fights any one of these dudes in MMA, it's going to be a fight for real. He's going to find out. He's going to find out for real. That is, you got to have, you got to have a lot of, heart, man, to fight MMA. You got to have a lot of experience and skill to fight at that level. So we're going to see. But Jake Paul is officially signed to the PFL. A fight announcement is coming soon, I'm sure. And I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. It'll be a Friday prediction video.